100% American made. And darn proud of it. The Charlie Kirk Show.
Remember to become a member at members.charliekirk.com to watch all of our interviews like this and even join our weekly members calls. The next one will be Friday, and it's one of my favorite hours of the week, so make sure to sign up at members.charliekirk.com.
Obstruction of justice, protect the Democrat. Remember all the things that the IRS whistleblower has told us about protecting Hunter Biden? Look at the document I just got on Wednesday. What does Sally Yates, the Deputy Attorney General, tell 3 separate FBI offices of career agents who have predicated criminal evidence that Hillary Clinton was doing pay to play? Shut it down. Donald Trump's out in the campaign yelling, lock her up, and the Justice Department's telling the FBI agents who could lock her up, shut it down. That is a quote, direct quote in the FBI's documents. That's obstruction. And so that you're looking at 2 crimes, obstruction to protect the Democrats, and then every person who went through this process and spent millions, so civil liberties have been violated.
Totally. So now let's get to the big news-catching item. Sure. I personally don't know if it's a good idea to indict him or not. Barack Obama. What was he calling the shots? Was he really doing this? Was this an administrative state play? Like, walk us through Barack Obama's involvement, awareness, and understanding of this grand conspiracy.
So there's really only 3 entrances that we know of so far, but they're pretty important entrances.
Okay, welcome back. Here's more with John Sala. Remember, we're live from the Bitcoin.com studio. Buy, sell, and manage Bitcoin all in one place, Bitcoin.com.
Barack Obama is the first guy to find out that Hillary Clinton's been intercepted approving a plan to hang the fake shingle, Russian shingle, on Donald Trump's house. He's the first person told by John Brennan. We have John Brennan's notes. It's very clear what the president was told. He doesn't stop anything that happens under the color of his authority and under the power of his administration from that day to January 20th, 2017, when President Trump. So is he culpable? I think most people look at it and say, that's kind of a buck stops at the top. The second thing he does is he orders the imagination, if we can call it that, the re-fictionalization of the intelligence assessment to make it look like Vladimir Putin was helping Donald Trump, which would prevent Trump from having any success and put a pall over the beginning of the presidency. And then I want to go back to another date, January 5, January 6. We know January 5, January 6, that's the Democrats' favorite days, right, in 2021. But all the distrust that boiled over that day goes back to a day, January 5, January 6, 2017, because Barack Obama presides over a meeting in the Oval Office, the most sacred office that we have for the presidency. And sitting around him is Joe Biden and Sally Yates and some of the FBI clowns. And they're trying to figure out how they can keep Mike Flynn under investigation, because on January 4th, after an exhaustive investigation, the FBI career counterintelligence agents decided that Mike Flynn was totally innocent, hadn't done a single thing wrong. The next day, Barack Obama calls a meeting. The FBI is told, don't close that probe. And they sit around all day like, well, maybe we'll throw the Logan Act at him. Well, maybe we can just lure him into an interview. The senior-most FBI agent in that meeting came back and he wrote notes. These notes will forever be burnished in my mind. What was our goal today? To get the American people the truth, or to get an innocent man to lure it into an interview where we can catch him into a fake lie and prosecute him? He understood.
They wrote that down?
Those are the notes I broke in 2020. Bill Priestap, Assistant Director of the FBI.
Who writes that? Who are these people? If you're going to do that, you don't write it down.
People who clearly were in a lot of torment because they had never in their 30 years careers seen this sort of manipulation of the FBI and the intelligence committee. So January 5, January 6, 2017 is one of the great crossover moments in American history. It's up there with Nixon sitting in the Oval Office saying, let's use the CIA to cap the FBI and maybe they won't be able to get this burglary figured out.
But that was a hypothetical. This was a literal.
Oh, it happened. They carried out. They do lure. If you ever watched James Comey's interview, he's sitting around smirking. I knew I could sucker those guys, and I did. That's not the way the law is supposed to be practiced by the top law enforcement officer in our land, but that's how they practiced it. They knew they were luring him into a perjury trap. So that's where Barack Obama's liabilities are. There's no chance that any federal court is going to allow an indictment of Barack Obama from anything he did inside the presidency. No chance.
Because of the presidential immunity.
The immunity rule is pretty clear. In almost any act that you take in the office of the presidency, you're going to have significant immunity, and the only resolution is the constitutional resolution of impeachment, and it'd be kind of meaningless to impeach him since he's been out of office for 9 years.
What bothers so many people, though, is that, I mean, Peter Strzok is still as a professor at Georgetown.
Yeah, sure. They fail up.
Andrew McCabe.
He's teaching ethics, by the way. Isn't that amazing? He's teaching ethics at Georgetown. That is kind of funny, isn't it?
It's that is exactly what I would expect.
You fail up in this this machinery.
American higher education.
I want to give people a little bit of hope. There is a scenario where Barack Obama ends up just like Mike Flynn. He's going to be walked into his own perjury trap because he isn't immune from a subpoena. He's not immune from a subpoena. And they'll tell him, you're immunized because the immunity rule says you're immunized. So you must testify. You can't claim your Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. And then he's got to sit there and decide, am I going to tell the truth and tarnish my legacy, or tell a lie and have these guys jam me up and charge me with perjury or 301 or 101 charge of lying to the FBI?
Who would conduct that interview?
Probably the special prosecutor or the lead prosecutor or the FBI.
But we don't have a special prosecutor.
You don't need one yet.
Okay.
You don't need it. Any FBI agent could say, I got to go. At this point, we have to ask the president questions. And it's happened. You saw Joe Biden submitted to interviews. Bill Clinton did some interviews that didn't work out too well for him. It got him impeached because he lied. That's the danger for Barack Obama. So he's got an Occam's razor sort of potential dilemma above him if Trump Justice Department has the courage to treat this like a criminal case and not come into 1,000 million excuses that Republicans usually come up for when they're charged. Keep in mind, most of the cases that expired and most of the decisions to decline prosecution on Russiagate occurred in Donald Trump's first presidency under Bill Barr, Jeff Sessions, and a guy named Rod Rosenstein.
Waste of time. Yeah, they were wasted time. The first term, we didn't know what we were doing. It was all over the place. But let's kind of piggyback on what you just said. You said if the Trump Department of Justice, I know the president wants what we want.
Sure.
Okay, back with more tomorrow. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you soon.